Hey everyone, and welcome. If you've ever heard people talking about LIC and felt like it's all a bit complicated, well, you've come to the right place. In today's explainer, we're going to unpack the Life Insurance Corporation of India from the very beginning, making it super simple and clear for absolutely everyone.
Okay, let's just start with a really important question. It's a bit heavy, I know, but it gets right to the heart of why this stuff matters. Just take a second and really think about it. If something were to happen to you, what would happen to your family? It's a tough one, but facing it is why we're even having this conversation.
And the answer to that tough question? Well, that's where life insurance comes in. The best way to think about it is like a financial safety net. It's literally a plan you put in place to catch your family and protect their future, making sure they're financially okay even if you're not around to provide for them anymore.
So let's dig into that idea a little bit more. Why is a safety net like this not just a nice thing to have, but something that's actually kind of necessary for smart financial planning?
Look, the honest truth is that life is completely unpredictable. None of us has a crystal ball. And if the worst were to happen, who would pay for all the big, important stuff? You know, things like your kids' education, or even just the daily household bills and EMI payments. That's exactly where insurance steps in. It's designed to provide the cash to cover those exact expenses, helping your family's life stay on track. And that brings us right to the main event of our explainer today. We've talked about the why, so now let's tackle the what. What exactly is LIC?
So, what is LIC? Simple. It's the Life Insurance Corporation, and it's owned by the government. The whole idea is pretty straightforward. You pay small, regular amounts of money, that's what they call a premium. In exchange for that, LIC promises that if an unfortunate event happens to you, they'll pay your family a large, one-time sum of money to keep them financially stable.
Okay, now this is the part where people sometimes get a little lost. LIC has a ton of different plans, and yeah, it can look confusing. But don't worry, we can actually make it really simple by sorting all of them into just three main groups.
This slide here gives us the perfect bird's eye view. At the end of the day, pretty much every LIC plan fits into one of these three buckets. First, you've got your protection plans. Their only job is life cover. Second, there are savings and investment plans, which are like a combo deal. You get life cover and you grow your money. And third, you have retirement plans, which are all about setting you up with an income for later in life. Let's break each one down.
All right, first up, protection plans. You'll often hear these called term plans. Think of them as pure, no-frills insurance. Their one and only goal is to provide that financial safety net. Because there's no investment piece, the premiums are the lowest you'll find. It's simple. If the policyholder passes away during the plan's term, the family gets the money. If you live past the term, the policy just ends. That's it. Pure, affordable protection.
And here's why these term plans are so incredibly powerful. To give you a real-world example, you can get a life cover of 1 crore rupees, that's a huge amount, for a monthly premium that's only around 1,000 rupees. It just goes to show you how affordable that massive peace of mind can actually be.
Okay, let's move on to our second category. These are the savings and investment plans. The key thing to understand here is that they're doing two jobs at once. They give you that life insurance safety net we've been talking about, and they're designed to help you save and grow your wealth over the long haul.
Now, within this savings category, there are a few different flavors. You have endowment plans, which are low risk and give you a nice lump sum of cash when the policy is over. Then there are money-back plans. They're similar, but they also give you some money back at different points during the policy term. And finally, you have ULIPs. These are linked to the stock market, which means there's potential for much higher growth, but it also comes with, you guessed it, higher risk.
And that brings us to our third and final category, retirement plans. These are really easy to understand. Their whole purpose is to build up a pot of money that will pay you a regular income, kind of like a salary or a pension, long after you've stopped working. It's all about making sure you're financially independent in your golden years.
So, now that we've broken down the types of plans, let's ask the big question. Why do so many millions of people in India trust LIC specifically? What are the actual benefits you get with them?
Well, beyond the core promise of security, there's a whole list of perks. You get some nice tax benefits, it forces you to save for the long term, and you can even take out a loan against your policy if you need to. You can also add little extras called riders for things like accident cover. But honestly, that very last point on the list is probably one of the biggest reasons of all.
Let's just focus on that for a second, because this is a really big deal. It's something called the sovereign guarantee. Since LIC is a government company,
The money you put in is backed by a 100% guarantee from the government of India itself. To put it simply, it's considered about as safe as an investment can get.
And we have to talk about the tax advantage because it's pretty awesome. You basically get a double benefit. First, the premiums you pay can help lower your taxable income each year. And second, when the plan ends and the final payout comes, either to you or your family, that money is typically tax-free. It's a fantastic win-win situation.
Okay, so you get it. You know what LIC is, you know the types of plans, and you know the benefits. That brings us to the most practical, hands-on part of this whole explainer. How do you actually choose the right plan for you?
The good news is there's a pretty clear 5-step process. First, just figure out your own needs. Do you want pure protection or savings too? Second, look at your budget. What can you actually afford to pay every month without stress? Third, pick the term. How long do you need this cover for? 20 years? 30 years? Fourth, if you're feeling unsure, please don't just guess. Talk to an expert. And finally, and this is so important, always read the terms and conditions before you sign anything. And just to make the whole process feel less scary, here's a quick look at the kind of documents you'll probably need. It's all the usual stuff really. Your ID, address proof, proof of your age, and income. Just having this stuff ready to go will make the whole thing a lot smoother.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to remember this. We've talked about plans and premiums and all the financial details, but at the end of the day, choosing an LIC plan isn't just another transaction. It's a real, tangible step you take towards building a wall of security around the people you love the most.
So there you have it. We've broken down the need, the options, and the massive benefits. We started this whole conversation by asking what would happen to your family. The only question left now is, are you ready to secure their future?